Welcome to the fourth episode of a generational anime podcast. Today we're going to be covering Steins episode 6 through 9, right?
7 through 9.
7 through 9. Thank you. I thought something was off. Anyways, I'm Charles, and I'm here with my father, Mark.
Hello, Charles.
Okay. We gotta read our emails real quick at generationalanimepod@gmail.com. Right? Yeah, generationalanimepod@gmail.com. This first and only one comes from Will, and it just says, good pod. Me hoot word podcast. Enjoy, yes. Background, I know this person. IRL, please, I mean, you can send us emails like this. I just kind of gave him the pass. It's like, okay, that's fine.
I like getting emails.
Yeah, we like getting emails.
Either way.
generationalanimepod@gmail.com.
We'll know we've started to progress when we get 2 in 1 week.
Amen. All right. Do we just want to? Oh, do we want to talk about? Do we want to have our minute-long One Piece segment real quick?
Sure.
I don't mind. I think it could be a good
Okay, I
tradition.
like it.
So last time we finished Drum Island, we're in Alabasta right now. They just teamed up with the Desert Pirates, the people on the sand boat, and then they got the logs and they came back. Ace is currently lost, and right, is that about right?
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
And they met a camel.
They met a camel who's a pervert.
Perfect camel.
Pervert camel. That part made us laugh a lot. Anyways, let's get into this. Episode 7, Divergent Singularity. Okabe takes his own experimentation to the next level by texting the winning lotto numbers back in time, but he fails to consider how his actions might alter the present or the future. You want to start with your notes?
Yeah, we could do that. And I think one thing to point out is that we decided to cut back to 3 episodes this time.
Yeah, because these are episodes.
Yeah, we're really getting into it now. The one note I had from the past episode,
Yeah.
I'd said that the numbers on the top of the microwave are the vacuum tubes, but they're just a red 600. I don't know what those are. They're not the divergence tubes at all. There's just a number 600 at the top of the microwave, and I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
And that's all.
Okay.
Okay, so it starts out with Daru pointing out that he's upgraded to be able to text to any number successfully.
Didn't it start off with Okabe ripping the door off the microwave?
Oh, yes, it did. I didn't put that.
Why did he
That's
rip
right.
the door off?
Just
And then
'cause
how does it get did they just fix it?
I guess.
And he just okay. I just thought that was interesting.
It was kind of funny. Mayuri was all upset because she wouldn't be able to.
It's two chicken tenders.
So the
Because then
next-
that's when Kurisu goes to the store, right? Or is that later?
No, it's right when she got back. And
Yeah,
he
and
was
he's
pissed off at her because she
just
didn't
didn't
have
have-
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
I expect you to go all over town. Like a good
Make
assistant
a route.
So, okay, he wants to send an email to alter the past, and his thought is to pick lottery numbers.
Yes.
And it's funny because Mayuri and Kirisu get kind of mad at him at first. because-
You're sorry. You're skipping past a note I had.
Okay.
When he was talking about gathering around the round table, and Moeka texts him, "What's a round table?" And then he doesn't answer, and Moeka keeps texting him over and over. Moeka makes me laugh. And I will admit it. I like Moeka. I think she's funny.
She's pretty funny.
Just the bzz, bzz, just constantly.
I love when she's right next to him and he just gets so frustrated. He'll be middle of talking, and it drives him crazy. And he'll just kind of take a deep breath and then continue on without even looking at the phone.
I know. Anyways,
Okay. Daru packs up the 5100 for what's it say? For Shiny Fingers. Okabe appoints Mayuri not to let Moeka leave. So he's afraid that Moeka is wanting
to steal the
run
idea.
away with the
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Although, how would she have ever done it if they couldn't carry it, the two of them?
I don't know.
But anyways.
I'm not looking backwards. I can't be facing backwards.
Okabe asks Moeka to compose an email to convince past Okabe to buy a lotto ticket 7 days back.
Yes. but then they're also like, it's funny because I think it's important when you talk about what prize they're picking. I don't know if you were gonna get to that or not.
Yeah, well, that's why I said that was where.
He's sensitive because
Yes.
he can easily tell that. Yeah, I mean he's taking Kurisu and Mayuri's opinion into matter heavily.
Yes, and I think he would have done that anyways. He didn't want to win. He's not wanting to win a big prize. He's just
He's just wanting to test if it
passed.
works. But it's also like he gets really sensitive and really scared about it.
Right, because the original prize, and I don't know what it translates to, but
It's like 23 million yen or something. I don't know.
yeah, it was something big. So they opted for the third prize,
Yeah,
which was 700,000 yen.
I think.
Oh, and I guess there is a point in time where, right there, where Okabe and Kirisu are arguing, and I think Moeka takes a picture of them and says that they're.
You guys are having a fun time.
And then, and doesn't Daru says they're OTP?
Yes, do have that. What does OTP mean?
I had to look it up.
Okay, can you tell me?
One true pairing. In other words, they've been shipped.
Okay,
And they're
and then yeah, because Kurisu acknowledges it. She's like OTP, and Daru's like, wait, how do you know that? And Okabe's like, oh, it rolls off the tongue for you so naturally, Christina.
Okabe hits send and goes into a trance for 30 seconds.
World lines.
Yes, he's shifted.
Oh well, no,
world.
yeah.
You don't really know that yet
But I mean,
at this
it's
point in time, but yes,
kind of
you figured it
implied.
out. Ask if they won the lottery. Nobody remembers. And then Ruka arrives, apologizing for accidentally using the wrong auto number. So I have a question here.
Yeah, what's up?
Why doesn't Okabe remember telling Ruka the numbers if he can remember other world lines?
I don't think that's how it works. It works on the fact that his memories are a single flowing line. It would literally be like,
So you don't think they go back to...
no, I don't think whatever is back is from the world line he was in. So he has memories of everything that's
or
happened.
world lines he was in.
Yes. So
Okay.
like when he jumps world lines, he can continue making memories and keeps memories from the old world line.
But only from where he jumped
But
into
only
that world.
yes. So he
Okay.
doesn't get memories from past events.
Okay. All right. So he didn't realize that
No.
he had asked Ruka to
Yeah.
purchase this.
What he remembers in the past is what happened in the old world line.
And how Okabe is it that he got a text to himself with auto numbers and
And
he had
didn't-
somebody else
yes.
buy it?
Yes.
Just thought that was funny. Okay, so Kirisu asks Okabe if he used the phone wave to do this. The date's August 3rd.
Oh, okay. Thanks for taking note of it.
Okabe goes out on the roof. So he said he didn't see a text sent from his current phone, but he does have a text from 5 days ago.
Well, I mean, that would make sense because, how are you going to text something from a universe where it didn't happen?
Yeah, well, that's the point. So he doesn't,
Yeah.
even though he knows he sent it, he doesn't see it in his sent box,
Yeah.
but he does see the one that he received from 5 days ago.
Mm-hmm. So he goes out on the roof and dramatically drinks Dr. Pepper because Dr. Pepper was in that world line.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep. Oh yeah, that's exactly right because it was on the table and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, it cuts to Suzuhu sitting on the bench looking at her pin.
Yes. Oh.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
That little there's Mr. Braun's daughter, and that's Chopper, by the way, to put the dots together.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's voiced by Chopper.
Okay. So when she's looking at the pin, Okabe comes out
Yeah,
and he looks very stressed.
stress.
And she
And then
comments on that.
she's like, "Oh, what are you?" He's like, "Oh, something," and then Brainwash shows up, and she peels open his eyelids, and she's like, "You're not brainwashed," which is more evidence that she's John Teeter, blah 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 blah, because that'd be something in the future. Yeah.
And then
He discovers the fact that she can hear everything they're talking about,
yes.
which made me prompt if they were going to elect her 006 at the time, but
Right.
yeah. Right.
So, and then he asked her, he said, "So tell me, did you not feel a tremor 10 minutes ago?" She's like, "Well, I've felt tremors before, but not 10 minutes ago." So Suzuha suggests Okabe ask Teeter.
Teeter.
So
Yeah.
he gets a world. Okay, is this where? I don't know, I'm getting all these all confused. Is this where he's sitting on? Does he dismiss everybody? He's sitting on the floor.
Well, yeah. He says everyone go home. Except Kurisu. Kurisu stays.
Okay.
He's sitting on the floor trying to compose this email
Okay.
to John Teeter, and they all call him right after or while he's trying to compose it.
Okay.
And I thought that was a really wholesome scene because
Yeah,
it
that was
cuts to
neat.
the three of them all apologizing, but they're all together at the park,
They're
so he
all at the
doesn't like
playground?
no, yeah.
And that's also when Daru calls and says, "I made a big mistake."
I left my wallet.
And then immediately Mayuri calls and he says,
Daru's gonna
hit
ask you for
up
money. You don't have to give him anything.
That's really funny. Okay, so yeah, Kirsu stays back, emails Teeter asking if
Oh, doesn't? No, wait. I'm no, my bad. I have in my notes just fucking Moeka. I don't remember what she does.
Oh, well, okay. Remember when he's waiting to get the text? Okay, so he's waiting to get a text back from Teeter, and
Moeka's just texting him.
yeah, and that's when Kirisu says, "You're like a girl waiting for the cute boy to call," and he said, "Oh, so you have experience," and and then as he's waiting there, it buzzes, and it's
Moeka.
well, the first buzz is from Ruka apologizing
yes,
again,
lottery ticket.
and then Moeka just saying, "Can I send an email back, please? Pretty please. Can I send an email back or a text back?"
Text back.
And then
John Teeter.
that's when John Teeter gets to him.
And then John Teeter goes on the whole rant. Something. In the end of it, it's like, oh no, okay. He's talking about the fact that Okabe can continue memories across world lines, and talking about how he's the savior, the messiah. And if they can pass that 1% divergence rate, right? Was it 1%?
Yeah, 1%.
Then that he can save future or whatever.
So he says in the year 2036 from which I hail, the idea of sending text back
Was never explored.
Okay, so he said the idea
of sending people back has been explored and fully dealt with, but altering the past through text message and email has not been explored at all. Was never thought of.
Okay, but then maybe he said, okay, no, he said the idea of changing world lines is fully accepted,
yes,
but is accepted as an absolute. And that absolute is that if you change world lines, you have no memories of the previous world line. And that's why he says that Okabe could be the savior, because he may be the one person who can do that. And if he can do that, then he may be the one person who can get them past 1% divergence.
Yeah. And then that's the end of episode 7. Right?
Yep, it just says beyond it lies freedom.
Yes, true freedom.
Okabe may, yeah, that's right. Beyond it lies true freedom. Okabe may be able to save the future. And then it just says, Okabe, I ask you, will you be our savior?
Yeah. Or in the subtitles of the actual text, it says Messiah, which I find it funny that they use the word Messiah because it wants me to be like, oh, there's some biblical reference here, but I don't know.
Interesting. And then I think he looks at Kurisu and he's a little bit panicked.
Yeah.
But then he shifts to Halloween and starts to embrace it. And is this where he says, I don't do this to be a savior. I'm a mad scientist, but he's willing to take on the task.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's what happens. Okay, episode 8. The latest
before we go on. So was this, I know you and I have talked about it a little bit. I try to keep our conversation to
as
a
brief
minimum.
as possible, yeah.
Was this 6? I think you started to enjoy it, but was this where it's really starting to turn to you?
I'd say ending of 7 and 8 is where it was like, ooh, okay.
Because I told you that you were worried about having time, and I told you once you started this 3-0 that you would be able to get through it quick. And you said, it's always going to be an hour. And I said, well, I mean, you're not going to want to stop in between. You're just going to want to continue on.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Okay. Episode 8. We're only 15 minutes in. This is going to be
Well, it may go quicker than we thought. If it ends up being a 45-minute, well, there's some more
Yeah.
conversation.
Oh yeah, of course. Season 1, episode. I don't know why I marked the season. Episode 8, Chaos Theory, Homeostasis 1. The latest experiment for Okabe and his lab mates. The latest experiment for Okabe and his lab mates leads to the disappearance of one of their own. Next, they'll attempt to use their time travel technology to stop a young boy's dream a reality. To make a young boy's dream a reality. I'm too sleepy right now. Okay. First note I have is something about Daru's D-mail. I don't remember what it was.
Well, actually, this one opens up with what I just thought happened maybe at the end of the last one, which is Kyoma saying, "Savior, no, I'm a mad scientist and I create chaos."
Yeah, that might be it.
So that's what. Okay, so he's explaining to, I think, the whole lab that they've altered the past and only he's kept his memories. And this is the first time I think he uses the term reading Steiner.
Yes, I think.
And they're wondering kind of what he's talking about. Daru got a message with a card order.
It was the order of Ferris's cards for the tournament he was playing in.
That's right. Okay.
But he had to figure out if he won or not.
So and that apparently didn't alter the world
line at
all.
all.
All remember they did that. So the
because
fact that he still couldn't beat
her, yeah,
nothing really changed. But it did happen. So
yeah,
it proves that sometimes
what you do doesn't have a direct butterfly effect or whatever.
Yeah, or it doesn't, or maybe there's not enough of a butterfly effect to change the world line. Because that's what, at one point in time, he says something to the effect of, if whatever we send back has enough effect on the past, it will make us jump world lines.
Yeah.
So leading to think that you can make small changes but still remain
and
in
be
the same
fine.
world
Yeah.
line.
Okay. And then he takes the laundry out onto the balcony, right? Am I skipping over something?
I think you may be, because I have Okabe and Kirisu there on the playground. She wants to experiment, but not with her life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this was kind of a funny scene. Because
then this is when he gets the text from Mo.
Yeah, and she's standing behind
Oh, yeah,
him.
no, my bad. That's why I wrote Kirisu resolved, because she's talking about how she wants to experiment, but not with herself. And then Moeka texts him like 3 times. She's like, "Can I send an email? Can I send an email? Can I send an email?" And then just pans to a close up of her face, just right there behind him.
Well, right before that, he's looking at the text. He was, "Will you shut up?" And then he turns around and she's right behind him, going, "Will you?
Will you?
Or can I?
Can I?"
But I like that. So when they're on the playground, that was kind of neat, because it was Kirisu is obviously got a reason that she doesn't want to do this.
Yeah,
but she wants to continue.
She wants to experiment with it.
And this goes back to the whole
my father.
Yeah, but
I don't want you to end up like my dad.
Her being torn.
Yeah,
about what
definitely.
she wants to do. And I think it was funny because Okabe called her a mad scientist because she's willing to do these experiments,
but with
not
the life
on
of
herself.
others.
And
Yeah,
he said that's very much a
mad
you're
scientist.
a mad scientist.
And then what? They go back to the TV store again.
So yeah, everyone gathers outside.
Yep. Suzuhu gives Kurisu the death glare again. She asks, "So, what did Teeter say to you?" And he's like, "Da da 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 da." Explains basically what, and she has a positive response to it. And Okabe's like, "Oh, seems like someone's revealed herself as a Teeter fangirl." And she's like, "Well, not exactly." And it's like, it's just that phrasing.
Yeah.
It's like, because she is John Teeter.
Yeah.
I say
That's your
that.
theory.
I'm gonna say that with full confidence.
Okay. Oh, isn't this where also doesn't Moeka shows up and takes a picture of the whole group?
Yes.
What did she say? Something, I don't have it in my notes, but there was something that was, or maybe it's just the fact that she's taking pictures of stuff.
It's like she asked, "Can I take a picture?" or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. And then I have in all caps in my shitty handwriting, melon, yeah, because Ruka brings by a melon.
Ruka, yes.
Ruka brings by a really nice looking melon from the shrine.
Okay, nice.
And then right? Am I skipping over anything or no?
Yes, you're skipping over a little bit.
Okay, go back then, please.
Okay, so Suzu confronts Okabe for not believing in Teeter, gives Kirisu the stink eye. Inside, Moeka is composing her text.
Oh, yes.
And it's just a silly text. I like when
She's like,
Okabe's reading it, and it's like he becomes her. I bought this phone 4 days ago, and I don't
don't
like
like it. I'd like to tell myself to get a different phone,
Just-
please.
So, okay, so then they send the text. And then immediately Okabe knows it works. He feels it.
Oh, I'm piecing it together now. Thank you, thank you,
Shiny
thank you.
finger is gone. What are you piecing together?
The fact that that's not actually what her text said. You look at me with staring eyes. No, the text actually said that the IBN 5100 was at the damn shrine. Oh my god, I just got that. I just pieced that together.
I honestly don't remember what the text said, but I know that it wasn't about buying a new phone.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Okay, so after Okabe wakes up from his trance, and where he says, "This time I know I don't have to ask if I switch world lines. I felt it."
Yeah.
So shining fingers. Okay, so you were right about the watermelon. So
the melon was already there.
yeah, because Ruka had already brought the melon. You're right, before the text was
Because then
sent.
the melon's gone when he gets back.
Yes.
And then Moeka's gone.
I like.
Did I skip over a lot or no?
No, now you're right, because it was when he gets out of his trance, he realizes that Moeka's
gone. He asks, "You guys see Moeka?" They're like, "Moeka, who the hell is that? Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah, and I thought it was funny because the way Mayuri answered, he said, "Did Ruka bring by a melon?" And Mayuri said, "No." And then he said, "What about Moeka? Did she come by?" And Mayuri said,
"No." He says, "Shining figures. Did she come by?"
Okay, and she said, "I don't think so, but I don't know who that is."
Yeah.
And
then they leave, right?
Okay, Ruka didn't bring the watermelon. No one knows Moeka. Oh, that he messages her real quick, and she messages back.
Mm-hmm.
So she still exists.
Yeah, Moeka still exists. She's just not. She hasn't
yet met the rest of the lab.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's August 5th. It's my brother's birthday.
Oh, that's cool.
Ruka arrives, and Mayuri cosplays him as a girl.
Yes. Well, you skipped over. This is stupid, but you skipped over. Mayuri and Kurisu talking about having a sleepover.
Oh yeah.
I think that's pretty important, dude.
She said,
I want to have a sleepover, just all of us."
Kurisu said, "How do those guys sleep there? They're disgusting." And then that's when Mayuri said, "We should have a sleepover sometime."
And she's like, "Yeah." Kurisu's like, "Yeah, but no guys."
Yeah, as long as there's no guys.
And she's like, "We can just have one in my hotel room." And Mayuri goes, "Whoa, you can do that?"
That is pretty funny. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Ruka comes over,
and then I want to punch Daru in the face. I want to punch Daru in the face. I want to punch Daru in the face.
Is this when you texted me that?
This is when I texted you. I want to kill Daru, please.
He's so bad.
Oh my god, I hate him. If that wasn't a guy, I'd hit. I think that's what he said, or something along the lines of that. And it just, oh my god.
So,
and then
they're going through his cosplay,
and then like midway through, Ruka's like, "I don't want to do this anymore."
But wait, before that, oh no, it was the scene before after he left the watermelon. He leaves.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, but this is a different scene. But it just made me think of something.
Chronologically, that's how it went, but you're getting it wrong.
Okay.
Because it goes. Ruka comes over to the place, right? Mayuri makes Ruka wear cosplays. They make weird comments about Ruka, and then Ruka's like, "Look, I don't want to do this. I know."
Wait, but that's what I'm thinking. In the earlier when he brought the watermelon, when he left, Kurisu said, "That's a good kid." It was non-binary.
Yeah,
I just thought it was interesting because at this point I had forgotten that originally when Kurisu
doesn't know Ruka's
she still doesn't know that
boy.
Ruka's a boy. So, whoops.
Yeah. So yeah, say that again.
Now, Ruka is in cosplay,
and Kurisu's getting kind of flustered, but
but no, this
Kurisu
is when
still doesn't know.
right, and this is when
Daru's like, if that wasn't a girl,
yeah.
I'd hit. And Kurisu's like, wait, what?
And then Ruka says, "I didn't come over here to
Cosplay.
cosplay.
I came over here because I heard you guys got a time machine."
Yes.
And then in this world line, basically, when Ruka was bringing over the melon, he heard them talking about the time machine. And
Yeah.
then Ruka then gets elected 007,
Yep.
which I thought it was funny that Okabe did 007, despite the fact that he did 007 and no one said anything. Or sorry, 006, my bad.
I was gonna say I didn't think he was
006, despite the fact that Moeka is not a part of the lab in this
that's
world
funny.
line.
Okay, that's
That
funny.
he still kept with. I was going to say, because my notes is it 006 or is it 005? Because Moeka's not a part of
Yeah,
the
he
lab in
didn't
this
change.
timeline.
Because he still remembers it.
Yeah, but no one ever said anything to him, which I thought was funny.
Oh, that is interesting. Okay.
That they just
Good-
kind of
good point.
accepted
That's
the
a
fact
really
that
good
it was.
That's a good pickup.
They just accepted the fact that it was 006.
Yeah, that's a good pickup.
And it's like, I know they understand he can, like, keep his. I mean, vaguely, because it's like he has to describe it to them every time he travels world lines because they don't remember the.
Yes, he does.
But I thought that was just an interesting point that
that is interesting.
that it's 006 and no one fights him on it.
Yeah, that is interesting. Okay, so this Ruka says
That he wants to be a girl.
he says I think I should be a girl.
Girl.
I always have felt awkward.
Transgender.
What you see from the outside should be more important than what you can't see, or whatever. My body parts you can see should be as important as the body parts you can't see.
Yeah.
And then
I'm valid. I support.
and that's when Kurisu says, why is the cute girl talking about wanting to become a girl?
And then Okabe's like, do some experimentation.
Any good scientist would be doing experiments right now.
And Kurisu places her two hands on Ruka's chest, feels it, is like, oh, okay. And then Ruka's like, yeah. And then they're all like, how are you going to change that? And Ruka's like, well, if you eat more veggies while you're pregnant,
yes,
you have a higher chance of being a girl. And then they Google, they're like, okay, cell phones. When did cell phones exist? And it doesn't line up to when Ruka was born. So they have to use a fucking pager.
Hold on, let's go back real quick, though. I liked this interaction because there was kind of a cool interaction between
Go ahead.
Okabe, Daru, and Kurisu, where Okabe immediately said, okay, you can send... he said, I fail to see where sending a text could change an X chromosome to a Y chromosome.
Yes.
And Ruka said, well, I've heard that if you eat a lot of meat when you're pregnant, you have a boy, and if you eat a lot of vegetables, you have a girl.
And Okabe is like, okay.
Kurisu said, so you want to send a message back to your mom to say double up the salad?
Yes.
And so Okabe says immediately, yes, you're good. And
Sorry.
and then how does it work? He walks over to Daru and they're talking about how
What year?
this will never work or whatever. And that's what Daru said something like, so you're just going to let him do it? And Okabe very thoughtfully said, it's all a wives' tale. It's not going to change anything. Besides, it'll make him feel good. And Kurisu was in the background. She said, he's right, Daru. There's no basis for this, so just let him do it. So I just thought that was kind of neat that Okabe was very, was concerned about just making Ruka happy.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is when they determine...
They determine the fact that there's no cell phones back then, so they gotta fucking text a pager.
Yes, so Ruka's first job as 006 is to go determine if his mother had a pager
and what the pager was. And yes, the answers are both yes. Daru has to do some weird hacker stuff to be able to actually text the pager, but they successfully do it in World Lines Alter. Am I missing anything?
Yeah, you're missing something that's kind of big.
Go ahead.
I caught this. Now, I've watched it so many times now that I'm to the point where I notice other things. Did you by chance notice what they set the timer to?
They rounded up?
No, that was when they were trying to send back
No. No, yeah, no.
They were trying to spend back 7 days, and Kurisu said something like that'd be 175.
Just kind of just
I'll
round up.
it to 180, something like that. But on this particular time, think about this. So what's a second?
What? Oh God, I don't remember.
A second's an hour, correct?
Right. I think.
Yes. So 150 hours. I can't remember exactly.
So they just set the microwave to some absurd number.
Well, so it would have had to have been like 150,000 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And there's only, I think, 4 or 5 digits on there anyways.
4 in the microwave, yeah.
So I thought that's funny that they didn't change the timer. What did they do? So I actually went to Wiki and looked this up. Actually, I went onto Reddit because it's kind of funny. You can go to Reddit for every episode and just see people's comments. And apparently, in the visual novel, they did set the timer to 149,022, but they do it on the computer. So in the visual novel, it's explained at this point in time.
They can set the timer from the computer.
They're doing it all from the computer, and that's where that was done. So I guess they left that off of the anime.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So, but
I have something in here that just says that's funny. I don't know what was funny, but it just says that's funny.
Okay, well, maybe this is the part where once Ruka sends the text.
Oh no, it's earlier. It's after Ruka talks about wanting to be a girl. I just said that's funny. I don't remember what, but I don't know.
I don't know.
They send the text. World lines alter, and
Okabe again immediately senses the change,
and then it snaps to Ruka on the couch. They're all hanging out.
And they're picking out clothes.
They are.
So they're picking out girls' clothes.
And Okabe is like, okay, what did it work? And stares directly at Ruka's chest. And Kurisu goes, "What the hell are you looking at?"
I would expect this from Daru.
But you?
And he did it twice.
And the second time she's like, "You got this weird, creepy smile on you too."
I felt so bad for him right there.
I did too.
Because
he's trying to do nothing. Because it's like they don't know what he did. But I also feel like he could have easily been like, "Hey guys, this is what happened." But also, would it have shocked Ruka that much? I don't know.
I think he's trying, because he said something in his mind. He said something to the effect of,
"I can't just say it."
Just
Ruka
ask, because it might upset him, or her, or whatever.
And is it ever explained? Because it's not explained at the beginning of episode 9.
We'll leave that part.
Is it important or no?
I don't know, but
I'd like to respect Ruka's pronouns, please.
I think that the fact that right when Ruka was a boy, Ruka did not feel comfortable cosplaying in girls' clothing.
But now that they're shopping for
women's clothes, and Mayuri said this would be cute on you, and they said
she,
oh, me, like excited that, oh, you think so? You think this would look good on me? So I think that means that the gender has changed.
Okay, so
but it was very subtle because they never come out and say.
Yeah.
And I don't know that. I'm curious how Okabe was ever supposed to have found this out.
I don't know. I'll just assume we'll just go by she from now on. Anyways, episode 9.
So is that it? Just ends right there? I can't remember how this.
Yeah, it just ends there. Because that's why I'm so confused. Because episode 8 opens up with them in the maid cafe. 9, whatever.
Okay.
All right. Episode 9. Chaos Theory Homeostasis 2. Okabe grows concerned over the drastic changes his experimentation is causing, and the IBN 5100 disappears from the lab. The only hope for finding a replacement rests upon the delicate girls of Ferris the Cat Girl. I'm just going to open up with this. This episode made me hate Ferris in ways I could not imagine.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know. Like, there were some moments, yes, but I feel like Ferris is a little bit of an ass.
Okay. So, is this before the OP where it opens up where they're at the cafe?
They're at the cafe,
right?
yeah, and Ferris, they're talking about the time machine, and Ferris comes up, and Ferris is like, "Oh, this is some time machine?" And Okabe's like, "I never tell you, you fucking whore, under your mind trickery." And
Oh.
Ferris,
I think you use those terms.
I know he doesn't,
but
but
just kidding.
Ferris turns to Daru, and then Daru's like, "Oh yeah, we built a time machine, and we can send messages to the past and alter things, and it's really cool, and I love you so much."
What did Okabe say? I can't remember.
He just yells at Daru. He's like, "God damn it, Daru!" Another reason why I hate Daru. Anyways.
Okay, so then it goes to OP.
Then it goes to OP, and then Okabe goes to take out the laundry. I was getting the 2 episodes confused. Okabe goes to take out the laundry. Kurisu's up on the rooftop on the phone.
Yes.
Okabe didn't. Okay, first of all, Okabe does not hear that much from Kurisu.
Right.
Okay. This woman has no right, no reason to get mad at Okabe.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
I found it a little ridiculous. She blew up over this whole thing, but he barely heard anything.
Okay, I'll explain what I think happened. But
Okay.
Let's tell what happened. So, she's up on the roof arguing with somebody on the phone,
And then it cuts back.
and it says something like, "Oh, this is so typical of you," blah blah blah. And then he goes back to the apartment or the lab, and then shortly after she comes down, and yes, she's yelling at him saying, "You didn't hear an argument. I don't know why you think
I
it was
wasn't
an
arguing
argument,
with
blah, blah."
anyone. What are you talking about?
And then he said, "Well, you did a good job of fooling me," or something like that.
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, I don't want to talk about it." And she walked away, and then she kept saying, like, "I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it." And then
She hugs the Oompa pillow.
and starts crying.
And then he does, I forget what he says. He does something, but he's like trying to comfort her, but he's also trying to keep his integrity. So he's like a really bad therapist. That's what I
So-
have written.
He doesn't understand how to be.
But like,
He's learning how to
he's-
become a
he-
friend.
He says something funny. I don't remember what he says.
So he says, okay, what he says is, "For what it's worth, your friendship is important to me. If you want me to listen, your friendship is important to me." And then she kind of stops crying and looks up and says, "For real?" And he picks up his phone and says,
She's on to me. She's on to me.
No,
No. Sorry. The persuasion tactic has worked. She fell for the bait, hook,
"Yes,
line, and
she's taken
sinker, or
his
something
hook-
like that.
she's wrapped around my little finger. She's wrapped around me like a mobster's pinky ring."
Yes,
is
the
what he
mobs.
says.
Yes.
And then she just looks at him and she said, "Ass."
God.
And that's where it ends. So I think it's basically she's upset about something and she wants
to talk about it, but Okabe's just too
and she's
caught up in his pride and
well,
too
and
stupid
she's
to
too
realize
caught up in
it.
her pride to ask to talk about it. So she's
Yeah.
trying to
Like try and kind of spark conversation.
yes to be comfortable because I had the notes is she came up there absolutely wanting to talk about this.
Yeah.
That's the only reason she went there. Okay, so
Something happens with Mayuri right next. Right?
Ferris asked Mayuri about the time machine, and they're sitting there in the. I think it was in the kitchen, maybe.
No, it was in like
maid
it
cafe?
was in like the locker room where they
Oh,
get
that's right
changed.
there in the locker room. yes.
And Mayuri's like, "Oh, it's scary and lightning and boom, bam, and I'm scared."
And Ferris says something to the extent of, "Oh, that must be great," or whatever. And Mayuri says, "To be honest with you, I wish it would have never happened because every time we use it,
I get farther away from Okabe.
Ocarine gets a little bit further away." Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of interesting that she's a little bit clingy.
Well, I think it's
Not
just that
clingy,
she
but yeah.
sees him changing with every 'cause
World line they
well,
jump. Yeah, of course.
So to me, and you're starting to see part of this show that I really like, which is
Yeah.
watching Okabe change, and it's like he takes 2 steps forward and 1 step
Back.
back every time he changes,
Yeah.
and she sees that he's becoming less like Hoin Koma, which she kind of likes,
And more so Okabe.
and the serious and sad Okabe, not
Yeah, not funny, quirky, zany,
Yes.
Uh
Okay, so at the lab, Okabe wants to work. Oh, okay. This is where they do the round table.
No,
Okay, then they're just doing a meeting.
they're just doing a meeting and they talk about they want to send people back in time.
So he says he wants to do corporal
No,
time
corporal,
travel. Is what
but-
we talk about.
But
And then
they're like, okay, first of all, so we know how CERN setup works, right?
so
And we know there's a black hole and a lifter.
hold on before you go to that. When they're sitting at the table, you're leaving out something from your favorite character.
Was Mocha there?
No, Daru.
Oh, Daru.
The first thing he says is, "Before we start, why is Mayuri cosplaying?" And
Oh, she's like, oh, I just was too lazy. It was my school outfit.
yeah, I didn't change for my school outfit. And he's obsessed with the fact that she's there in the school outfit. It's just,
Yeah. Why would I want to talk about that? That's so stupid.
Because I want to talk about all the details of stuff.
That's fair.
So yeah, he says he wants to work. That what we're here for is to work on. Oh, that was the other funny part. Is he said, "We're here for bigger and better things." He said we need to work on corporal time travel. And Kirisu looks at Mayuri and says, "Do we have any barley tea?"
Yes, yes, yes.
She just completely ignores Okabe.
Yes, I thought that was funny. Okay, so then they're like, okay, CERN's layout uses a lifter and a black hole, right? Am I forgetting anything?
Nope.
Okay. And then basically they say our setup has to have those two things. And we know it has those two things because we perform time travel, but we have to kind of figure out what causes what so we can expand upon it.
Yeah. So she had said, what would make you think we could do bodily time travel if CERN has, with all of their testing and everything and their giant lifter, if they can't do it, what makes you think you would be able to? And then so
Oh yeah, because they says if they can't, because then he's like, wait, they can't, but we've established they can.
So that happens in a second. So he
gets called a Wesley, right?
that didn't happen just yet.
Okay, that's my next note.
Okay, yeah, because that's one I want to talk about too.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
so all right, so what happens is, let me recap this. So he
Go
says,
ahead.
"I want to do bodily time travel." She ignores him for a second, asks for tea, and then says, "I can't remember what. There's no reason to even discuss this because CERN can't even do it. If CERN can't with their giant lifters, how would we be able to do something like this?" She walks over to the microwave and she says, "We're not even exactly sure how D-mail works. I'm pretty sure the microwave isn't the lifter. I don't know what is." And that's not a spoiler, but that's an important thing. So
they don't know what
they
the
have
lifter
a
is.
lifter right now, but they don't know what it
Is it the? It's not the phone, is it? They'll
No.
explain it. It's the table.
It'll get
It's the
explained.
table.
It'll get explained to you.
Actually, Okabe is the lifter himself.
Okay, so and then I don't know what they're talking about at that point in time, but that's when
He gets called a Wesley. No,
yes,
Yes.
that's when she says, "Could you be more of a Wesley?"
and then he's like, "What? What?
Okay, so
Enlighten me, sir."
I had to look this up. I figured you would have because it was another reference. So apparently,
Wesley.
and I don't know any of this. I looked it all up, but apparently Wesley is some character in Star Trek.
Oh, I wouldn't know that.
I know. I wouldn't either, but I thought you might have looked it up. Just
No,
because
I didn't know if it was a reference
because it
or
was a
what
reference that they really dug into. So
Yeah.
I didn't write down all of his things, but I think there's a movie called Star Trek New Generation, and he said something to her about, "Oh, so now you're a new generation of scientists."
Yes. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then there was like he called her Doctor something, which I'm assuming has to be a doctor from Star Trek.
Probably.
And there was one other reference, but they kept kind of teasing her about, I guess, being a Trekkie. So yeah, that's what that was.
That's funny. And then, okay.
Okay, so this
is important. They talk about the fact that, or Okabe is like, but we know CERN's done it, and they're all like, what are you talking about? We're like, the farthest we've gotten with CERN is this homepage. We can't crack their code. Or no,
I forgot about something before you
go
continue.
ahead.
Before Kurisu went to the microwave and was talking about what the lifter was and said that CERN can't do this even with their lifters, she said, "But fine, if you want to try to do bodily travel," because she said something like, "We can only do 38 characters. How are we going to send a human body through this portal? But if you want to try and do it, you go ahead and do it. You're going to end up like with Jelly Okabe on the other side." Okay.
Oh,
And then she
because
went to the microwave.
in this world line, right? She wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Or is this like an important detail you're actually bringing up?
It's something I noticed, and it made me go on to Reddit, and a lot of other people noticed it.
But
And then there's some explanations if you want me to tell what explanations
Because
were.
the fact is, they've already done the experiment with the banana. She was there for that the first time.
That's what some people say. So go to where you're saying they no longer have the 5100. He was asking him. He said, "How far have we gotten at the code?" Daru said, "Well,
we can't get anywhere. We don't have the 5100." He was like, "Wait, well, what?"
Yeah, he said we do have a 5100, and then he said, "Be honest, be honest, Christina. Didn't we walk back together with the which is part that I loved?"
I'm not facing backwards.
And she said, "I don't remember that at all." And
She's like, "Oh, so you're the only one who remembers it, so I'm supposed to believe you," or something along the lines of that, right?
"Yeah," and she's not being sarcastic.
Yeah, I know. I know she's not.
Yeah, she's being realistic. Yeah, so in researching this, I came across a couple things. One is people say that yes, it could have just been from seeing the banana.
The banana.
But apparently in the visual novel, the order was out in the information they got from CERN. It's different. In the visual novel, they're able to get to Jellyman's files on the original hack before they actually get the 5100.
So then what does the 5100 reveal then?
I don't know, because I don't know in
The visual novel?
in the visual novel
That's
what
fair.
it would have done. Apparently, there's a lot of more detail of stuff, which I guess makes sense.
How much is the visual novel?
I don't know, and I'm just trying to figure out what the hell even a visual novel is.
Steins.
But everything I read from people,
You want to
say
lend
that
me?
it's-
You want to lend me? I mean, if you give me. Is this no?
Apparently, you can just go on YouTube and watch clips of it.
I know I can. Wait, is this the movie? I don't know. At some point, I'll buy.
So this is where going back to you said,
Chad, I think I just got spoiled by the visual novel.
"Are you kidding?"
Not crazy, but
Don't
one.
go ahead.
Here, hold on.
No.
Sorry, we had to discuss that real quick. I think we were at them talking about not having the IBM 5100.
Yes, and this is where Kirisu said, I guess I have to believe what you're saying or whatever. And this is where they talk about the butterfly effect again.
Yes.
So she
Well,
says,
no. This is the first time they actually used the term.
Okay.
And I marked the fact that it was the first time because part of me was sitting there waiting. They said butterfly effect. I was like, oh, fucking great. They're going to go to the climatic trope, the cliche trope of, oh, butterfly effect. And I mean, I know that's what it is and that's what it was going to evolve to, but it's every time travel series calls it the exact same thing.
Because that's what the term means.
I know. I just thought, maybe that they could come up with something original. I don't know. That's too much of this is too much of a nitpick, but
I don't even think it's a nitpick. It's like,
just a preference.
why would you take a term that exists and change it? I thought, though.
No, this was the first time they used it, and I picked
know
up
it's
on
the first time they used it, but remember the title of episode 6
was butterfly effect.
And I didn't take the time to go back and look at this, but I wondered if whatever's going on now kind of coincides with the time from episode 6 and where this was actually happening in the background of episode 6. I don't know. I kind of want to look into it more. So they called the shrine to see if the 5100 is there.
It was there, but it is magically missing. Or it went magically missing, and they don't know when.
And Okabe calls...
This is when I kind of pieced it together, the fact that it was Moeka who sent the text back telling her, hey, go get the 5100 at the shrine.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So,
yeah.
I'm trying to piece this back together. They called the shrine to see if the 5100 is there. It was, but it's gone now. Okabe calls Ferris. Okay, she says that her dad
had one,
but she doesn't know where it happened. To it.
Yes.
And then Mayuri sees a metal Oompa and asks about wanting one.
Yes, and then metal Oompa, you're gonna lose it again. And she's like, again? I've never had a metal Oompa.
And then this is weird. He hears
Moeka
say IBN 5100. And then he turns and sees her walking through the crowd. I don't understand. Did he just get a hunch, or what happened there?
I don't know. But part of me actually, okay, so my first note is, can Moeka remember World Lines 2? But then it all dawned on me when I was talking a little bit ago.
Okabe sees her in traffic and goes running after
For her, and he loses her, but then he finds her like hunched over in an alleyway, and he's like, "Do you know where the 5100 is?" She's like,
She said it's supposed to be here, is what she said.
"Oh, is it?"
That's the first thing she said, is it was supposed to be here. And then she looks up at Okabe and says, "Oh, it's you. Do you know where it is?"
He's like, "No, do you?" She's like, "No." It's funny, she was crying in an alleyway a few episodes back.
Well, that time was when she was running from the reporters because they were asking her about the satellite.
Oh,
She
okay.
was just trying to get away. And remember, that's when she had her phone. That said FB. It had all those messages from FB. But now,
do we still know what FB is? No.
We don't know yet. No.
Okay.
So she's crying, and then the lab members show up, and she's walking up the stairs, and Mayuri says, "Boy, she can wear clothes. She should do cosplay sometime."
Yes, I thought that was really funny. But then it's actually important because she's like, she mentions the fact that she knows Moeka.
Yeah, so now
they're back into the line where Moeka is a lab. What'd you just do?
He realizes that now
Moeka's a part of the lab again.
Part of the lab again.
Yeah.
What changed between that? So,
what do you mean? What changed between that?
Whose text eliminated them from knowing Moeka?
It was Moeka's text.
Okay, that's right.
And then it was Ruka's
somehow
her text
things to where they now know
Moeka.
Okay. Oh, and when they were meeting, it was to apparently Ferris has invited
them to
Okabe
go
over, and Mayuri and
Daru are tagging along too because they're like, I want to go see Ferris, and Mayuri's like, I don't know, I'm kind of bored. They get to Ferris's house.
They get to the building,
and
they say, "Is
it's
this
on
the right address?"
And he's like, "Yes, it's on the top floor." They go up and they're greeted by Butler Man, and Daru says, "Oh, now I see why Butler cafes aren't popular, because it's like this old butler dude."
Yeah, Mayuri said, "I've never seen a real butler before," and that's what. Yeah, he said, I know why there's not butler cafes." And
they go get Master Ferris.
Okabe goes over to the window,
and he's like, "Yes, they all look like ants. They all look like ants from up here. Yes."
That's so great.
I thought that was funny.
He wants to be a ruler from up high somewhere and look down onto the people.
They all look like ants, the people.
And then he walks over to Ferris, and I didn't write this down. He says something to the effect of, all of this opulence should lead to an obvious question.
Yes.
Something I wish I would have written it down. It was just kind of a funny statement.
Wait, hold on. Okay. So he says, "Ferris, the opulence of your living quarter begs rather an obvious question. Don't you agree?" Looking back, we also forgot to talk about a while back, I think maybe 5 minutes back in the episode.
Yeah, this is
they're doing a maid swap or something like that.
It was a maid question thing.
Thing.
Yeah, maybe it was a
and
maid swap.
One of the questions is if you could go back in time and was it fix or tell yourself it was something. Change one thing. What would you do? And she looks.
So this was Mayuri and Ferris back at the main cafe.
Yes. And Ferris is like, Ferris thinks about it for a solid second, and then is like, really nothing, really. But you can tell she's like very intrigued by this concept of time travel and the fact that it means something to her.
Yes, well, and she had also asked earlier.
Yeah.
And Okabe calls her right then, coincidentally.
Yeah.
And I think that's the phone call where she invites him over. Because that's when he said, when they were talking about the metal Oompa, he said, "I'm not sure why Ferris invited me over." And that's when both Mayuri and Daru say, "Well, I'm coming also."
Yeah.
Okay. So we're back to where the opulence of your living quarters begs an obvious question. Am I right?
Right. And then she's like, she stutters, and then she pretends to be a cat. Explain yourself, or we hereby part ways, madam.
She is part of a family
That owns Akihabara.
or I guess a ton of land in Akihabara.
Akihabara.
And her real name
Is
something
Aki
similar
something.
to, yeah. So
But
it's-
Daru's like, I don't want to hear it.
ugh.
She's fairest in my mind, and I love her. Anyways, so that happens. She says she has information about the IBN 5100,
Yes.
but it'll come at a price.
Yes.
And he gets really mad. And he's like, well, fine, what is it? And she's like, let me send an email.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
And then,
He originally doesn't want to let her do it.
yes.
And Daru's like,
Like-
oh, this is not fair. You could send a lottery ticket back, but you can't let Ferris do it.
But then they don't elect Ferris as a lab member, do they?
Yep, they do.
Oh, they do? I guess I did have
She's
that.
007.
Oh, yeah, she is 007. My bad. I have that as my top episode note, that Ferris might be 007, but I forgot they actually do.
Yes.
Oh, my God. And then...
Hold on. I know exactly where you're going. So she wants to send a text back 10 years, but she wants to keep it a secret.
Secret.
And Okabe is...
Okabe is trying to look, and she's like,
pretty-
don't you know it's not polite to look through a girl's text?
And he's very hesitant about her just sending back
A random
text
text.
that he doesn't know
No.
what it is because he's worried about how much it might change. So he agrees, and this is
And
where I
then,
know
oh
where
my
you're going.
God. So thankfully, Kurisu is at the lab. So, Okabe calls Kurisu, and this is one of your favorite scenes in the entire
In the entire
show.
show.
I-
This
I
is
can
one
see
of the
why.
funniest scenes.
So he calls her once. He's like, "Assistant, turn on the phone," and she just hangs up. And he says, "This is Hyowin Koma calling," and she's like, "Oh, hey," and he's like, "Did you not just get my call?" And she's like, "I didn't. I thought I had a stalker."
I thought a serial killer stole your phone.
And then he's like, "It shows up on caller ID."
Oh, that's when she said, yeah, maybe a serial killer
killer
stole
had-
your phone.
And then he calls again,
Because she hung
Or-
up on him again. He started going into Hoin coma.
Koma, and then he calls her again, and he yells at her again.
He says,
Don't hang up, and she hangs up. And then he calls back on his knees, shoes off. He's like, "This is what did
He
he say?"
says, Okabe Rintaro calling from Makase.
And-
Speaking.
And they go on this polite
Might I request that
that you use the phone wave given the settings attached in the prior text, if I'm not inconveniencing you at all. And she says, "I see why you're not polite. You sound like a 12-year-old." He's like, "First of all, the reason I'm not polite is because something
I'm a mad scientist.
scientist, and then something else." And he's like, "No, wait, I'm sorry. That was someone else entirely speaking. Yeah, I'm sorry. Please, if you just..." And it was, oh my God, it's
So good.
funny.
My note says, Okabe Rintaro calling from Makase. Might I impose upon you?
I have just Kurisu phone calls are
just-
great.
That is true. Both those phone calls are awesome.
Awesome.
So fair. It's so great. Ferris. Oh, okay. So she gets everything going on the lab side.
Yes, and then we
And-
shift world lines.
No, not yet. But
Oh, not yet.
because there's kind of a big thing here.
Oh, go ahead.
As everything's ready to go, Okabe says, "Okay, Ferris, you can hit send now." And Ferris says, "Maybe this isn't a good idea."
Yes.
And he says, "You got to send it now." So then she still hits send.
And
so-
then
World line changes.
world line changes. Instead of the butler, it's now some good-looking ginger guy who just happens to be Ferris' dad.
That's funny.
And then
Ferris comes. They don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Ferris comes in and says, "Hey, Dad." And
sorry
that
if
if
they're-
Okabe's bothering you. He said, "No, not at all." And then he has to go.
but he's like, "Hey, did you donate an IBN 5100 to a shrine?"
He said, I just thought it was funny. He said, "Do you know of the 5100?" He said, "Oh, that takes me back a long ways. I had one, but I jettisoned it.
What does that mean?
Got rid of it."
Oh, okay. Thank you.
And Okabe said, "Did you by chance donate it to the not the Akihabara? I can't remember the name of the shrine."
Something shrine. He's like, that name doesn't ring any bells.
Yeah, he'd never even heard of it. So
You shook your. I know.
So this is when he says, I think this is when he notices that the 5100 was at the shrine at one point in time, and now
It's
apparently
not.
was
It's just
never even
somewhere.
made it to the shrine.
Yeah. And he starts to realize that, like, everything around him is just changing.
Yes.
And then...
What do I have? ED... Oh, the ED... Okay, this was cool.
Yeah, because the ED starts to overlay with...
I always love when they do this.
I do too.
In an impactful episode.
Go ahead.
This is where you missed a couple things.
Yes,
and I like that we're now going to the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
I'm sorry. I just like that when they overlay
know.
that the training's coming soon. Blah 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 blah. And he burns
missed,
the note. Yeah, go ahead. Please explain to me what happened. I didn't understand. There were people playing piano, people singing, because I was watching this in the middle of like school.
Back at the apartment.
Well, no,
Ferris,
back
at the
yeah.
apartment, Ferris said that her family owns much of Akihabara, and she is a big reason that there's such a huge Moe presence in Akihabara.
Yes.
And
What does moe mean?
Moe's like
Moa-ka.
cute girls doing cute things.
Oh, okay.
The maid cafe,
Okay.
things like that are all Moe. So Moe and anime kind of all bleed together.
That makes sense.
And you know that Akihabara is like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So when they're walking, I don't think she said she wants to go to Nagano, but she might have. But Nagano is across the country, so that must not have been where she meant. But Mayuri said she wanted to go to some other, I'm assuming, suburb in Tokyo
Mm-hmm.
to get something. I don't even know what she wanted to get. I'm assuming it's just something that's gaming related, Moe related, whatever. And Daru says, it's not even on the way. We'd have to go so far out of the way. And then
He's like, but that's in our backyard.
yeah, Okabe says, you've lost your mind. There's such and such everywhere. I don't know what term he's using. Everywhere you look. And then he starts to look around.
And it's just fans.
It's like computer stores. And
oh, so
they're still in Akihabara.
But the culture changed from Moe culture to computer culture.
Yes.
Because of her father. So, or what we assume is because of her father.
Whatever Ferris sent back in time has caused to where Akihabara never became a mecca for Moe and
meaning,
anime.
I assume to get an IBN 5100 is going to be very easy for them. That's my guess.
No spoilers, no.
No? Fuck.
It didn't. That's not important. What's important
is that Akihabara has changed.
Not what it was when they were there.
Okay.
And then that's how it ends with the ED bleeding through it. I just thought that was really cool. And does he at this point in time get, I don't know if spook's the word or maybe it is, where he's realizing now that this is
a big
heavyweight.
Change. Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
Like there's a whole realization that falls on him. He's like, oh, I've committed, haven't I?
And it may be just on top of everything else is he has taken this area where they have been together that's a fun
and it's just changed it
into something that's completely
boring.
And I think it's just me, but the way he cares for Mayuri, realizing that she just lost a ton of her enjoyment in where she lives and in her life. And
no, definitely.
She's lost a ton of that.
Yeah.
And then that's where it ends, right?
Yep. I don't know. Closing remarks?
So you're getting into it now?
Yeah, I'm into it. I'd say I'm into it. I'm probably about to go watch episode 10.
Are you really?
Maybe. I've been wanting to kind of finish it ever since I watched episode 9 today.
We will be halfway finished when we complete our next
3
episode.
Yeah.
So we'll do 10, 11, and 12 next. I think that now we'll just take it every 3 because a lot happens in every episode moving forward.
Good to know. Which means you're going to have to... my notes are so bare bones because I'm just kind of sitting and enjoying. Honestly, I don't even know if I need to take notes anymore. Part of me just kind of wants to just sit and because I have a decently good memory.
Yes, you do. You don't have... I don't think you... I would... If I were you, I actually switched to writing bigger because I was trying to write it small and keep my notes each to a very small half page
No,
and do
just
2 episodes.
can you
on?
make your notes like as detailed,
I
or
didn't
it's
mean
like
small. I'm sorry. I meant I'm writing big. I'm taking up more space.
no,
and
I know,
not-
I know,
yeah,
I know.
yeah.
I mean like
Yes, I'll take detailed notes.
yes, and then I'm just gonna comment on what I remember because I don't think
Yes.
I really need notes.
I don't think you do either. The only notes I would put for you would be things that you
Are confused about.
or things you really liked.
Yeah, not just like I don't like. I guess yeah, things that like come to my mind immediately, not just from the logical thought process of running through everything.
In that last episode, maybe you would have taken a note, just said that
I don't like Ferris.
I liked. Okay, that.
I
or-
didn't like. I don't like Ferris. I was kind of confused about the ending. I think their phone call was funny. Okabe looking out the window was funny. Like here, hold on. He started to realize that he's gone past the point of no return. Mayuri talking about being connected and maybe the phone conversation. I don't know. A lot of it's just things that happen.
We're a little over an hour.
Yeah.
I want to know at this point in time, what are your thoughts on? We won't talk about Okabe and Kirisu. What are your thoughts about Mayuri?
Mayuri. Oh God, I'm trying to piece together what I remember you telling me about Steins before I said I was ever going to watch it.
That's funny.
Because I don't want to make accusations, but she died.
I don't want you to predict the future.
I know.
'Cause
I know.
I don't want you putting me in the situation of
of like
making facial expressions.
yeah.
Or whatever.
No. Of course.
I just
of
mean
course.
as a character so far.
As a character so far, I like her.
Yeah.
I wish she was a little like more observant and a little more intelligent. Well, not saying she isn't, because it's obvious she is, and there's more to her. But baseline Mayuri, I mean, she is fine. She's not like my least favorite, but she's not like I don't know. I'm not like oh Mayuri every time I see her on screen, you know.
Okay. What do you think about Daru?
I hate Daru! Thank you.
What do you think about Moeka?
I like her. She's funny. She's a little weird, and I hope she's not like an asshole bad guy who's like, ooh, I'm gonna steal the IBM 500 and keep it for myself. I just hope she stays kind of funny, quirky like she is.
What do you think about Suzuha?
Who's that? I like Suzuha. I think she's a funny character. I like her appearances when she has them. I want more to be explained about her, of course, because John Teeter, blah, 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 or something related to that. Even though it's like, we kind of know she's from the future. Anyways, I like her as a character. I think she's funny.
She's good.
She's good.
What do you
definitely.
think about Giro?
Braun? He exists. Oh, we didn't talk about when he calls Okabe a pedophile. I thought that was kind of funny.
How dare you insinuate that I would do testing on
Children. Or your child. I thought that was
that
funny.
was actually a funny scene. We didn't talk about that because he said he was out talking to Suzuha and
yes,
the
and
daughter.
And Suzuha's like, hey. Oh, no. First of all, Suzuha's like, yeah, don't tell Mr. Braun I've been kind of slacking off today. Because he's on a house call. He's like, oh, don't worry, I won't. And the daughter's like, no, I won't either.
If you let me ride your bike.
And she's like, fine. Anyways, he comes in. He's like, how dare you insinuate or he's like, what are you doing with my daughter alone? He's like, how dare you were insinuate I'd be testing on child. Suzu, who was out here anyways.
Yeah, he said the part-timer was out here also.
Anyways.
Just ask her.
And then he asks his daughter, he's like, was she out here? And she's like, yes, but she wasn't slacking off. And he's like, God,
I just love that Mr. Braun hates everybody, but he loves
I do
his
too.
daughter.
Is there any other characters you want to ask me about?
I think that's pretty much everyone.
Yeah, because you don't want to get into.
I don't know who I'm
Kurisu.
missing.
I don't know. You want to ask me about Ferris? Other than I think she can be a little.
Oh
bit of
yeah. So what's your problem with Ferris?
I just think that okay. First of all, she's a little too obsessed with Kurisu, not Kurisu. Okabe.
Okay.
And I think that's. I don't know. It's like it's obvious she has some feelings about him. I feel like, but
Yeah.
it's also like I feel like she's just manipulative, and I don't like her because of that. It's like instead of like legitimately answering Okabe, she just decides to act like the maid cafe cat and just kind of goof around or whatever.
Yeah, I could see that a little bit. I could see where you would think that.
That's all. I just think she could be a little more serious.
Yeah. I think her big thing is that, and she said it as much, that she doesn't want people to treat her. She wants to keep the fact that she's that wealthy hidden.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, okay. I think this was a good episode.
I do
we're
too.
Getting
I
into
do
the
too.
meat of stuff.
We are.
We'll get 3 more coming out soon.
All right.
What?
Email us.
Please email us. Oh, also comment. If you got
Comment on
comments.
YouTube.
We actually learned.
We
had a
learned.
commenter-
Okay. We learned a lot. We had a commenter on the YouTube episode. I'll go find out his name real quick, or their name. Reuben Philima. I'm gonna pronounce that wrong. Anyways, but
thanks for the comments.
thanks for the
Somebody
comment. They went on to explain about they talked about the color palette, and it's perfect for the. Yeah, and it makes it feel more isolating, which is perfect for the tone of the show. But I do understand not liking it. Gave us the ages of everyone, and then talked about the references and the fact that the actual American references are substituted with Japanese references just so they make sense because it's about them being nerds.
Yeah, and that's similar to like watching the dub for Kero, where we know that it's adjusted for American.
And then they talk about the fact that they're all social outcasts, which is why they just kind of accept each other's weirdness. Right? They said they played the visual novel, I think, in the reply back.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I've read the visual novel, so I have a basic idea of what the anime condensed or cut for time. I consider the anime one of the few solid visual novel adaptations, considering how lengthy and full the source material usually is.
And that's what you hear a lot of people say.
Yeah, and then they recommended we watch ReZero.
Well, very cool. Well,
yes.
Send us emails, please.
Send us emails, respond.
Tell your friends.
Yes. generationalanimepod@gmail.com. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.